When this charismatic, velvet-voiced new wave frontman was going through his darkest time, music was what inspired him. And he was diagnosed with cancer, Hodgkins disease. And as he battled through chemotherapy, he realized that listening to his favorite music lifted him up out of despair and gave him the motivation to keep going. And so he wanted to create a song that paid tribute, to this joyful music that helped him to survive. The result was one of the greatest top 5 hits of 1987. I mean, this song just soars. Up next, the singer tells us the story himself of capturing this moment on Professor of Rock. Hey, music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. If you loved MTV in the days where they actually played music, you're going to dig this channel. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button below so you can get our daily content. Also, to get even more content, more exclusives, check us out on Patreon. That helps us a lot. From 1977 to 1980, there was definitely something in the water in Sheffield, England. Great bands formed across this metropolitan borough in South Yorkshire, England. There's Def Leppard, The Human League, Heaven 17, ABC, so many more. All 4 of the aforementioned bands would have an impact on the second British invasion. Def Leppard would dominate 80s hard rock worldwide, beginning with On Through the Night, High and Dry, moving to blockbuster status when Pyromania and Hysteria hit. Heaven 17 would prove bigger in the UK than the US. They had several top 5 hits in the UK, including Temptation. The Human League and ABC were on the front lines of the new British invasion. As Don't You Want Me, that spent 3 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 82. And then the group would have another number 1 with legendary duo Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis in 86 with Human. Great song. ABC, they were right there as well with a double-fisted attack on the American charts with Poison Arrow hitting number 25 and then The Look of Love going to number 18 on the Hot 100. They were both on regular rotation on MTV. Both hit the top 10 in the UK and Australia as well. The Look of Love topped the chart in Canada and the US Hot Dance Club Play chart as well. The album that those songs came from, The Lexicon of Love, this was produced by legend Trevor Horn. That went platinum in the UK as it entered the charts at number 1, and it made an impact worldwide, going to number 1 in Finland and New Zealand. Went top 5 in Sweden and Canada and top 25 about everywhere else, including the US. Inspired by Motown, this band, heavily inspired by Motown. ABC was comprised of lead vocalist songwriter Martin Fry, guitarist keyboardist songwriter Mark White, saxophonist Stephen Singleton, and drummer David Palmer, coming from an earlier band that was called Vice Versa. ABC would continue to release hits throughout the 80s. A top 20 hit in the US followed in 84 with How to Be a Zillionaire. Tell me how to be. And then they would have their first top 10 hit in the US with the breathtaking number 9 1985 song, Be Near Me. I've always loved this song with one of the most memorable piano figures of the era. By 1986, lead singer Martin Fry was completely exhausted. He was battling a life-threatening illness for a long while. The soulful stylist would take inspiration from the music of his youth when collaborating with co-writing partner Mark White and putting together the band's 4th studio album, Alphabet City. This they would release in late 87. Martin and Mark would bring in a legend to help co-produce this album and, give them an additional spark, Bernard Edwards, the supersonic bassist who co-founded Chic with Nile Rodgers. The late Bernard Edwards, just simply one of the greatest ever. His bass line from the Chic classic Good Times it's one of the most revered and most copied piece of music in history. I mean, influenced Queen's Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight.
The Sugar Hill Gang.
The hip-hop, you don't stop.
Really influenced entire genres of music. John Taylor of Duran Duran credits this as a major innovator. I mean, you can't say enough about this legend. He co-wrote ABC's biggest hit, which would be the first single from Alphabet City, When Smokey Sings.
Tonight, when Smokey sings.
It went to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. For ABC lead singer Martin Fry, it was a healing experience, to say the least. The bass line of the song, it was created as an homage to Smokey Robinson's classic, The Tears of a Clown. There's so many great stories about this song, and you're about to hear him straight from the man, the creator and the singer of ABC, Martin Fry, in this exclusive interview. That's coming up next. Before we go into this sit down, I do want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, that helps to make this possible. The glasses I'm always wearing. I mean, we've received so many comments from viewers who have gone to the website and created their own styles. Some of them have like 7 or 8 pair. Go to Zenni.com and do a virtual try-on now. You won't regret it. Add some style to your life. Here's what Martin said about When Smokey Sings, one of the classics of '87. When Smokey Sings. Is there a more joyful song on the planet than When Smokey Sings?
That's nice of you to say that.
It really is. It's number 5 in the US, number 11 in the UK, and number 1 in the dance charts, number 2 on the AC charts. It crossed over here in America, but that, of course, the tribute to Smokey Robinson. And there were a couple of songs that came out, of course, Night Shift in '85, and that was so
I
great.
think Rod Stewart did a song about Sam Cooke as well.
Yeah, he did.
Everybody's dancing.
Yeah.
Something.
Dancing to the music on the radio.
When you would hear that in America on Top 40 Countdown, Casey Kasem
Yeah.
would yearn back and play those songs. So that's how I got introduced to Motown.
Okay.
So,
Oh, cool.
you know, of course, Smokey was in his big comeback at that moment. He
Yeah.
hit Just to See Her, which incredible
Yeah.
song.
There's nothing I wouldn't do.
And then One Heartbeat.
One heartbeat at a time.
And it was awesome because it charted in the top 10 at the same time.
We came back out with the record and I went to Holland to do a TV show and they said, do you want to meet Smokey Robinson? You've got When Smokey Sings. I said, well, I'm never going to meet him. I said, look over there. It's his dressing room. So I kind of knocked on his dressing room door at a Dutch TV show. I said, oh, hello, Mr. Robinson. You know, we've written this song about you, you know. Here it is. And gave him the 12-inch and the 7-inch and did a little picture. And about 4 weeks later, we met him in Los Angeles. And by then, his record and our record were on the charts. So he'd had a chance to check it all out, and he was really complimentary. And he wrote us a handwritten letter. He wrote one to me, one to Mark White, who wrote the song with me. Yeah, he sent us a letter saying it was the first time an act and the tributee were in the same top 5, I think. Yeah, it's cool. We made pop history. So it's nice to hear it from him. Yeah,
I know.
So cool. And I noticed at the bottom of the letter, it said Tamla Motown, MD, William S. Robinson. He was the MD of Motown at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like meeting the king.
Oh, yeah. Well, that song, when you're recording in the studio, how did you come up with all of the different parts?
We recorded it with Bernard Edwards, we love Chic, Noel Rodgers and Bernard Edwards. So the label said, listen, guys, you can go in the studio, but don't do anything like Zillionaire again. You know, they said,
Yeah.
you know, so I said, okay, we got a drummer and we're going off in a different direction. So in a way, I think with Bernard sitting in that room, it really made me want to play the best game ever. There was just something about him being there. He didn't have to do much. You know, it was just all, Mark White and myself were operating at our best capacity.
Zone.
Yeah, we're in the zone.
And it starts out the piano part. Drum comes in. Then the saxophone, the horns, and then the background singers, the who, oh.
The bass line's dum 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 dum, a little bit close to some of the Smokey stuff.
Oh yeah. Even the lyrics, you can tell that you definitely when you tell the story about how that was lifting your spirits, and when you say debonair lullabies,
Yeah.
Debonair lullabies.
and all of those different things.
In Miracles Revealed, you know, Smokey and the Miracles.
I know, I love it.
And miracles made real.
And I love the breakdown too when you talk about Luther
Yeah.
and of course Luther Vandross
Luther Cruz.
and then James Brown
Marvin
and
Gaye.
how you mimic the croon.
Which is about the
Marvin.
great memories of great tunes, yeah.
Chain screams. Marvin was the only.
What was the first like Motown that you
What I
heard as a
remember
kid?
about Motown was I went to a club and it was all skinheads and stuff, and they're playing a bit of rock music and they were playing this and that. But as soon as they played Temptations or Smokey Robinson, everybody got on the dance floor. And I kind of thought, yeah, that is magical. You know, it didn't matter, all the hippie guys, the skinhead guys, everybody got on the floor for some of those records because they were just irresistible. And even as a young guy, you know, lying about my age to get into this club, I got to be 14 or 15 or something at the time. I just realized that's where it's at, yeah. And, you know, the idea of pop opera happening over 3.5 minutes, I love the way Motown's so deep and yet it's pop music at the same time, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's really, there's some brilliant writing there as well. Brilliant.
I had an
tunes.
opportunity to sit down with Lamont Dozier for 3 hours
Okay,
and talk
yeah,
to him about all of that.
wow,
It
wow.
was incredible.
Superb.
We just had a great time in the studio, and it wasn't work. It was like a party all the time.
Yeah.
When we had to go and make some new records, it was like a party, man. And drinking that cheap cold duck and ribs.
Yeah.
There's a place around the corner called Brothers Ribs. And we had the ribs and drinking that cold duck and just singing
Writing
and
number one hits, man.
and putting them out. He said, well, try this, try this, try
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
try that. And that's what that Motown thing was about. It was like you were
Community.
yeah, it was like you in your home too, you know, because that's what it was, a house. And then and we sitting around there banging on the piano and just coming up with different ideas.
When Smokey sings, I forget every
And elegance and eloquence. I love just the wordplay in that.
elegance and eloquence.
You see, the song's about Smokey Robinson, but over the years, it's like making a bespoke suit. You know, I get to wear it. So
Yeah,
it's kind of a little bit about ABC.
Yeah.
And it's a lot about
Right.
Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Yeah.
Well, and I also love the vocal when you say, and when Smokey sings, he sings. I just,
Okay, those are
yeah, I just love it.
Spontaneous moments.
Oh,
that,
totally. That was a song that, like I said, is so joyful. From the minute that you hear it and it hits with that drum beat,
Yeah.
you're in full flight. I mean, it's just such a joy. How did it come together?
But I have to say, it came out of a really tough time for me. I'd been diagnosed with like cancer about 18 months before, and I had Hodgkins disease. So after Zillionaire, we played I think we played Soul Train. We did a lot of shows, and then I had to withdraw really, and I had chemotherapy and radiotherapy. I'm fully recovered now. But I'd sit at home between going up to the hospital, and I just wondered what I was going to do next. And I started playing tunes I like Motown, like Smokey Robinson, and realizing how good you feel when you hear some of your favorite music. Music is, like therapy, or music is sort of the power of music. And
medicine.
that's where the sentiment of When Smokey Sings, it comes out of that. All those memories of going to clubs when I was 15, but also, you know, like a bird in flight on a hot, sweet night.
Like a bird in flight on a hot, sweet night.
It's kind of about how music could just make you feel fantastic. It
Yeah.
could just take you somewhere else. So I wanted it to sound like that too, you know, for it to soar. That was the kind of approach and the attempt.
It certainly does.
It's funny how a very positive song can come out of a pretty dark place, but that's the beautiful thing about music. And, you know, all these years on, I'm fully recovered. You know, I get on stage and it's a joy to get on stage and sing When Smokey Sings.
When Smokey sings, I forget everything. Yeah.
But that ecstatic song came from a pretty dark place, yeah.
And everything's good in the world tonight.
That's a song that will live on forever. And your story about Smokey, that's just incredible that you got a chance to meet him and
Yeah.
and that he got to
Yeah.
hear that song.
Yeah, I mean, to grow up listening to it and then to talk to him about his music, yeah, it was something special. It made me realize you got to be careful what you write songs about, because it's all a wish fulfillment.
It's true.
If you write about it, it comes true. Yeah.
Smokey
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Leave us a comment about Martin Fry, ABC, and this beautiful soaring song. I just love this song. What do you remember about it? What do you remember about radio in '87? Now, we have other stories from ABC, Be Near Me, and a few others. Those are going to be available on Patreon. You can be the first to see those by subscribing there. Also, if you like this channel, we invite you to subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Help us keep the music alive. That's what it's all about. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends. Talk to you soon.